Hello one and all, and welcome back to Let's Play Miitopia. Now, you might be looking at the world map right now and thinking, well, that seems a little bit strange. Weren't we about to just head off right here? There's this thing right over here? That wasn't there before, and why this whole section over here seems to be completed as well. That's very strange and unusual. Yes, okay, so I've got a bit of a story to tell, and a whole lot of forgiveness to hopefully receive from you guys. So, everything was hunky-dory. I recorded a bit more. I got some more things done. Honestly, despite what it looks like, not a terribly large amount. You're gonna notice that our relationships are a bit stronger. We do have new gear. I'm going to explain everything. Whew boy. Okay, so, here's what happened. Everything was fine. I recorded. I did some stuff. It was fun. It was great. Then I had a little problem with my computer. You might actually call it a hard drive failure. And needless to say, I've lost a fair bit of stuff. And it took a lot of doing and a lot of brute force in it. But ultimately, I've got my setup running again. And ultimately, believe it or not, we only lost a single episode. Somehow, miraculously, that's all that we lost. Now, you still, I can tell by seeing it in your my me stares into your soul and he can tell. You're disappointed. That was a lot of stuff we missed. And you might be wondering, well, why don't you just go back? Well, this game has this wonderful habit of auto-saving all the time, so I physically can't go back. The only option I would have had would be to delete my entire save file and start over from the beginning to get back to where I was, and things would be different. I wouldn't be able to get everything back to exactly where it was. But, there is one small feature available to us in this game that can salvage at least a decent chunk of things. Alright, so here's the deal. I can still return to every place that I've been. And, I'll have you know, in the records book, this game keeps track of every single noteworthy cutscene and a perfect replay of every single battle. I don't even know why they include these things. The cutscene, sure, but a replay of every single battle. And I do mean every single battle. The way back to the very start of the game. We've got a full recreation of every single one of them. So, while it's going to be a bit strange, I will now meticulously retrace my steps so that you all will get every single aspect of the game that I can possibly return to you. This is far from ideal. I apologize profusely. I tried everything I could to get this file back. I could not. So, let us begin. So, basically, what we got here are the Wayward Woods. Long and short of it is, we jump down in here, and to the best of my knowledge, we're not actually going to find any more monsters here. And by the way, here are our new outfits. We do look rather snazzy. Why do you say that? So, oh, no, a monster is here. Is it a recreation of the monster? No, it's entirely new monsters. Alright, well, explosion! I'll be 100% honest, I'm not sure if we had explosion magic beforehand or not. Oh boy, it was a decently sized episode, but that's okay. Point is, when we got here, I mean, I'm getting free grub as a result of all this, so I'm not really too terribly upset about that aspect. Woohoo, I'm on fire. Someone's chirpy. Boy, howdy is he ever. I'm glad someone is. Woo boy. So this is actually where we ran across the king's stolen face and the monster that it was plastered upon. I'm not really feeling it. Same, actually. Rest assured, me and Weiss's relationship has, in fact, progressed at the exact rate that you think it might have. Also, Majima has seriously gotten super big-time friends with the horse and its mighty snort ability. I'm just going to treat almost every ability as if it's brand new. The horse can snort giant cones of air, and that does big-time damage. So, that's something to take note of. So yeah, the king's face was originally here. There was a treasure chest. What was actually inside said treasure chest, I cannot say that I truly know. So, I'm also not going to abuse things too much here to try and get even more, you know, stuff out of everything. But I do want to go through every area at least once. So we went there, we fought the monster, which you are about to see. Do not worry. I'm not even going to take advantage of these extra in trips, other than that. As much as I want to, we're not doing that. But we will be doing something a little later, so don't worry. Alright, so that's, as I said, we fought the monster that had the king's face. And now I will show you that battle, and I will give you a play-by-play, I guess. Alright, so we just scroll on down, try to ignore as much of this as you possibly can. There were so many of these things. I'm going to find them, don't you worry. Aha! Here it is. Let us vividly recall our past battle against the Town Golem. He's traded his rotundity for pure abular strengthitude. Weiss, obviously, as always, helped me out. It even gives us our old weapons and equipment at the time. So, it's a literally one-to-one recreation of the fight. We busted out as many of our amazing abilities as we possibly could. Parappa's newfound deep friendship with Majima has given him the ability to really start encoring him in all aspects. And of course, this golem hits like an absolute dump truck. I'm saying this dump truck is full of flaming cement. I, of course, jumped to Weiss's aid because that's how I do. And Weiss, obviously, continues her firing assault. And I believe I made a quip as to wondering just how much fire and how hot fire needed to be to melt rock. I know that it can be done, but there you go. Weiss chomps down on one of those absolutely delectable HP bananas. And more teamwork, always be making the dream work as we team up for a cure spell on this one, helping out Majima pretty decently. He sets down a trap. Now that's pretty good, because if he gets decked, he could get taken out pretty quick. So this will immediately, as you can see, negate that entirely. The Thieves' Kit is a pretty good one. Now, luckily, we've pretty much gained the ability to show off to just about everybody at this point, so we're able to really start synergizing our team together into a really wondrous thing. I'm obviously going full in on the whole healing thing, because that's just kind of what I do. But Parappa, somewhat ungratefully, still consumes the banana regardless. However, he would not have been at full health had I not healed him, so I'm going to say that it was still a worthwhile idea in the end. Now, you might also be thinking, boy howdy, this golem sure does seem like it has a lot of HP. And the answer to that, my friend, was a resounding, yes. This guy does not like to go down. So I am constantly just attempting to do as much damage as I possibly can, but we've kind of ran into the issue of constantly having to heal ourselves. Luckily, Weiss's expert dodging ability is able to get her out of just about any predicament that you could imagine. Ah, but we got the first assist of the Pincer 2.0, which we got from our expanded relationship. It's pretty dang swell, I gotta say. And with that, we have firmly vanquished the golem. Are we alive? As a matter of fact, you are. And with that, the king's face was recovered. Ain't that just about the best? So, then what basically happened was, I hastenedly, and by hastenedly, I mean I, obviously had some outing tickets and stuff, and did all that business, but then, as soon as that was all done, I made haste quickly to the castle, and when I went to said castle, I obviously was able to give the king his face back. You don't get to see the little animation of the face swirling around the king and plopping back down, but the instant that it was reattached to his absolute flabby, flabulous face, we were able to have this happen. He's checking things out, making sure things are all orderly. We are more than a little perplexed by this. Oh, thank goodness. The royal continence is restored. And I believe I said I don't know how to pronounce that. But, there you go. Oh, nor do I entirely understand what the word means. It happens to us, in the best of times. So I'm not worrying too much about it. Anyway, the king is happy. Thank you! Thank you, thank you, thank you! Accept our royal gratitude! And he dumped an absolute truckload of money on my head. I'ma be real with you. By God, did we ever make big bank from that? Now we must replenish ourselves. There's not nearly enough melted butter on this thing. Much. But with that, everything worked out okay. That Dark Lord Dr. Doof is certainly no joke. We're all in a lot of trouble with that scoundrel around. Go and warn the princess while we take care of this. Now, as much as I would love to immediately go, just back out of this, go into the castle and say howdy hey to the princess, well, there's actually a current squabble going on in there that I don't want to spoil. So, I believe I need to now tell you that, man, boy howdy, was figuring out who was going to play the princess and the associating characters around her incredibly difficult. Because I wanted it to be something relevant to the channel, but I also wanted it to be something not blisteringly obvious, and at the same time still kind of funny. I had a very hard time. I had like 5 different ideas for this combination of characters. It was not an easy decision. However, I ultimately did come down to my final decision. Now, you might seem a little well, that seems a little obvious and expected at first, but I assure you, it will in fact get cooler and more hilarious in time. So we walked into the royal princess's bedroom, and we were regaled with her radiance. Is Princess Daisy. A bit more blonde than usual because the princess royal has a blonde wig plastered on them at all times, but I digress. It's still Daisy. It's the tomboy we all know. And who might you be? And, okay, we don't get literally every single aspect of the cutscenes back for us, but that's okay. I can fill you in. Basically, I talked to the princess, and we brought up about the Dark Lord Doof. And she was obviously pretty dang spooked and scared by that whole rigmarole, as you might expect. She told us that she actually has a friend, and that friend of hers would be all the way back in our beloved, Greenhorn? Is that the name of the place? Yeah, Greenhorn! You know, that place I love so much that I remember the name of immediately. So we came back here, and we had ourselves a jolly good time talking to everybody, as you do. You know, Gura having a joyous day, in such a good mood she be, and she needs a good old chuckle. So come on, laugh with me now, and I give a rousing shah-ha-ha-hark. There you go. Happy times with Gura. Gumshoe, feeling kind of bored about this whole situation, which is ironic. I guess the guy just really likes, excitement at all times. What a sleepy day. Yeah, an adventurer. Welcome to Greenhorn. This place was being tormented by the Dark Lord, pal. But now it's quiet and a bit boring. Well, suppose I'd better put my feet up, pal. And, of course, the Gumshoe did. Now, as I arrived, worried father, Dojima had some stuff to say. Namely, that Nanako had freaking vanished. Now, admittedly, this was the first time that the child had actually managed to disappear. The first time they had their face stolen, not really up to them in any regard. So, with their child gone, I, of course, said I would gladly and totally 100% help you out in that regard. So, I did. And I ran out right thusly. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Now, when I said I was meticulously retracing my steps, I meant it. And okay, well, you see that tiny corner? I can't stop there now, but that small corner right there was the house of our next great scene. What I did not bring up is the fact that Dojima happened to tell me that they asked a specific person other than us to go and help Nanako, but they didn't seem to have much confidence in them. So they also decided to ask us to hopefully make that whole thing work out. So I head on over to try and find the situation, and we found this scene. Here goes. Nanako, where are you? No, stay away. That's the voice. That's right, it's flippin' Luigi, and Nanako's being attacked by gobos. Somebody help me. Oh dear. That's not good. I got to do something. You get away from her. Because apparently the child is supposed to be a boy? I didn't even know that. Anyway, Luigi. Yeah, he did his best. But, yeah. There's nothing I can do. Please, save the girl. As that is what they're... it's weird. Some roles in this game are For some reason, some of the roles in this game are hard-coded to particular genders, whereas other ones will actually change depending on the Mii you put them into. This is one of those situations where they're hard-coded. Either way, the whole thing still works. Mommy. And thus Nanako was saved. It was just a fight against 3 Gabos. It was super easy breezy. Don't worry about it. And thus we found Luigi, the besmirched noble son. Thank you so much for your help. I'm still suffering from incredible brain damage. My name is Luigi. So Princess Daisy is worried about you. Yeah, in case I didn't mention that exact specific part. Yeah, Princess Daisy said she had a friend, and she wanted us to go check up on him because Dark Lord monsters everywhere. She was worried about him. So we went and did that, and we ended up finding Nanako and him at the same time. You know, 2 birds, 1 stone, all that great stuff. The princess is worried about me? As a matter of fact, he is, and my Mii seems to have some interesting thoughts about that. Oh. Focus. What in the world were those monsters? And so I regaled him with a tale to tell him all the things that he might need to know to successfully survive in this crazy world that we call Miitopia. I turned my back and all this happened? Mamma mia. And the way you handled those monsters. That was incredible. Also, apologies for my terrible Italian accent. I was as useful as a chocolate teapot. You know, I mean, sure, you might not want to put tea in said chocolate teapot, but you could still eat said chocolate teapot. So, in that particular instance, I would say it's actually rather useful indeed. I think I'll be leaving now. And leave he most certainly did. And with that, Nanako was saved. And we obviously checked in on the princess's friend, as it were. Although my Mii obviously has their doubts. We went back and we talked to Dojima about this, and I think we got something for it? Not 100% sure. Couldn't have been any. It was either game tickets, outing tickets, or a little bit of money. Hard to say which. You'll have to forgive me. I don't have every conceivable detail. I've had a stressful couple of days. Anyway, with that, we obviously returned back to the castle in order to tell the princess of the good news. That their friend, I'm using air quotation marks with that one, is perfectly fine and she's got nothing to worry about. And everything is all hunky-dory with nothing to worry about whatsoever. So Luigi is safe. That is a relief. Please accept this reward. And we got another absolute boatload of money dumped on our heads. The royal family is freaking loaded, dudes. Now, child, don't ask how I fit through the door. I'll never tell. You must forget about that Luigi chap. You're betrothed to Prince Nagito, after all. Is that clear? Jump, jump. But, father, he's so awful. And with that, that little bombshell got dropped on the world. That's right, poor Princess Daisy is obligated to get into a marriage with freaking Nagito, Frank himself. It was pretty much the best possible option for a character like that I could ever think of. I suppose it's possible that this version of the character might not be so bad. It's hard to say. So obviously, we were sadly forced to leave the princess to that sombering, horrible realization and accepting the fact that that's just going to be a thing that happens for her, unsadly. And we went back to talk to the king. The king said something to the effect of, the prince from this neighboring kingdom, Frank, as I will call him, as you guys seem to be very attached to the fact that I started calling him that in Danganronpa. So that's what we're going with. And I punched my microphone. My bad, I'm doing a lot of wild hand gestures despite the fact that you can't see any of them. We talked to the king, and he said that prince really should be here by now. Do you mind going over and maybe finding and escorting him back? And I said, well, I mean, I kind of don't want to, but it's a direct order from the king. Maybe some money will be given. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's just simply the fact. Now, as you can see, this is actually probably a tiny blessing. A lot of these places, I had a lot of forks in the road, as it were. So, luckily, we're only going to have to go through each one of these things once. Not that bad, not that bad. But, I mean, Parappa do be getting blisters. Wonder what that person we helped is doing now. We've helped so many people, it can be hard to tell. He needs gold. Oh, now Parappa's the one accusing people of tutelage. And that's a really good double meaning of the word, even though that's not the thing. Anyway, we've got nose rocks, which I very late in the game realized was another word for boogers. So, there you go. A trap was set, and all is good. And we're in real time now. I need to stop talking as if we're in the past, because I'm actually fighting these things for realsies. You might notice that Parappa is looking absolutely frigging jacked. Well, that's because he's wearing... Thank you, Weiss. He's wearing the macho threads, and it's a line of armor that makes everybody look absolutely jacked. The problem is, you might notice he's got veins all over his legs. And the hat he was wearing also had those exact same veins. I do not like the macho line of armor, and it's something literally every class is going to have to go through. None of the other characters have gotten it yet, but we'll, yeah, that's a thing. Anyway, I feel like I can take on the world. Sorry, wasn't listening. I was kind of having a chat with, Weiss here. Don't read into that. I wonder how Max is feeling. I'm feeling pretty good. Well, Dojima, I'm afraid you can't do that. I mean, honestly, if anybody wanted to leave the group, they're more than welcome to do so. I'd prefer if they didn't, because, you know, obviously I like their company, and we're doing things, and we're doing a great team. But I feel like if they actually wanted to leave, then they would have. I'm ready to conk out. It is pretty dang dark. I am very tired, as is the way of these things. But there you go. There was a treasure chest. Assume every single treasure chest we found was either game tickets or money. If we pass a big one, then it was probably a weapon. I'll show those off too, so don't worry about those. You'll see everything that we gained. Oh, more monsters. I shan't be intimidated by such things, because we are capable of doing stuff like that. My God, Weiss, you are awesome. Majima's extraordinarily deep bond with the horse has allowed him the ability to absolutely annihilate sucker chumps like nobody's business. My goodness. Alright, yippee! As I really do gotta agree with you on that one. Alright, so going through these things is gonna give me a bit more money and a few more grub items, which is perfectly fine, because if I'm being honest, I was running dangerously low on all of that stuff. So, no major worries there. And relationships grow just a wee bit more. Boy, howdy, are you guys gonna be interested in, in some stuff later, let me tell you. I want to do all this stuff, but I don't want to boost things too much. So we're just gonna have to make a straight through of it, because we're retracing our steps, not trying to game the system by getting more EXP and relationship boosts than is absolutely necessary. Then, obviously, I headed over here, where there was many more things to do and more forks in the road. Keep in mind, for every single conceivable path, I ran through the thing again. This time, you guys are only gonna have to see me go through each one once, so that's pretty good. As Weiss frolics forward. Oh, your tummy hurts. Haven't heard that in a while. I suppose I have not, in fact, fed any of us in a while because of what we're doing here. Don't worry, I'm gonna stuff us all silly at the end. No problems. And then we were apparently attacked by actual lightning clouds. I thought it was a little, you know, interesting to attack normal clouds with bolts of lightning, but the fact that we're hitting lightning clouds with lightning really gives off the impression that that's something that really shouldn't be a thing. Like, that shouldn't work, right? I'm not crazy. That just doesn't seem like it would be an effective attack. If anything, it feels like you'd just be supercharging them and making the whole situation a hell of a lot worse. Time to get us some loot. That is pretty good. Don't tell that to Weiss. Parappa, that is Weiss. Dear Lord, the sun must be getting to him. Got my favorite clothes on today. A likely story. It was around this time, and this is the only real downside to this whole thing that I really wish I could still get you guys back up to speed with, because it was a really fun and interesting thing. It was at this point that, I kid you not, Weiss and Majima actually had themselves a bit of a spat. I mean, not a spout. It said the long journey was causing some stress, and, well, we already knew that there was some serious things going on in the background. A little bit of jealousy here, there, everywhere, for a multitude of things. And a rift was formed. A rift is basically the opposite of a friendship, in that, you know, they're basically quarreling. And your various, the Miis will basically interrupt each other, distract each other. They cause a whole lot of problems in the grand scheme of things, and you really don't want that to be a thing that's happening. don't worry. I'm absolutely certain we'll be getting another quarrel at some point in the future. You'll see the full forces of that whole thing soon enough. Of that, I promise. Luckily, Parappa, as a pop star, had the ability Love and Peace, which, when used, it dispelled the whole thing. It took him a little while because Majima was so ridiculously stubborn that he didn't want it, but eventually his good friend Parappa knocked the microphone off my table because everything about today is just going to be difficult for me, but that's okay. You know what? I don't need... Okay, I kind of do need the stand. Dang it. All right, well, now I gotta fix it. That's just fantastic. I'll just keep telling. Majima, obviously, eventually, listened to his good friend Parappa, and he was able to get through to him. There we go. And the rivalry was fixed from that particular angle. Weiss was still a bit upset for a while, but after I had them hang out in the same hotel room for a little bit, eventually they were able to make peace of the situation and the conflict was resolved. Luckily for everybody involved. Then, we don't really have to go through here. Just know that I went through here 3 separate times. Wait, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you see that top layer? Basically, you go up, and then you have to go down for no reason, and then you go up to the inn. It made absolutely no sense. Not worth going through 3 separate times, but I did. And we got ourselves, again, game tickets, outing tickets, money, and a couple of bits of equipment. In fact, now's as good a time as any to show off said equipment that we did gain and since gone through. As you can see, I am currently wearing this snazzy little getup, but when you last saw me, I was wearing the leather vestments. Now, I was able to pretty quickly jump over to the penguin vestments, which I thought were absolutely adorable, and I wanted to keep them so much that I bought the woolly vestments, I didn't actually wear them because I wanted to stay as a penguin for a little bit longer. Then eventually my character literally said the words, "I want a new outfit," while we were walking about, and I was like, okay, fine, you don't want to be dressed up as a penguin, fine. So we got the next best thing, and we got the prayer vestments, and there you go. I also, obviously, got this really snazzy golden staff, which I consider a monumental upgrade over this lollipop thing that I've got going on here. So, there's that. Next up, we've got good old Weiss, and I don't think she got too many different outfits. Okay, no, she actually did. I think she probably got the most out of anybody. Anyway, first and foremost, she got this really cool suit robe, to the point where I think I want to equip it aesthetically, just because I really like it, because it looks like her beacon outfit, and, you know, I thought it was all canon and stuff. I just liked it. Anyway, eventually we did pick up the woolly robe, and I thought it was super cute, because it made her look like a Santa girl. So, I was like, oh no, not the suit robe, but I love the suit robe, but oh, Santa girl. You know how it is when it comes to situations of this nature, and girls of a particular cuteness and fondness of which I have thereabouts. Anyway, it was all kind of a short-lived thing, as she pretty quickly got the silk robe, and I thought that was pretty snazzy, and I made peace of the whole situation, and so she wore it. Then eventually she got these crossed heart robe, and I basically equated it to essentially Hot Topic wear. She was wearing that as we started this particular episode, but we'll switch over to the suit robe. In fact, since I'm here, I mean, heck, you guys saw these vestments. You really do deserve to have the penguin vestments seen by all for at least a little while, you know? Now, obviously, poor old Parappa is stuck with the macho threads. Not the greatest. Not a fan. But he did get the rainbow microphone that I got through the roulette wheel, so that's pretty snazzy and cool. And I believe that is... And I only edited my appearance, right? Like I'm actually... Yeah. So, yeah, I only have the appearance of the penguin robes, not the stats. Good. And Majima, I'm not sure if your outfit changed. Were you wearing the chicken outfit last I saw? Yeah, actually, were you? Wow, I've got through a lot of gear this point. That's so weird. But, there was the... Yeah, there was the polka dot gear, which looked very silly. The pirate gear, which didn't look silly, but, I mean, I think that's his stomach showing, so it was a little bit silly. Then we had the desert gear, which was pretty snazzy, but then I was like, Santa Majima? Hell yeah, let's boogie woogie. He didn't get a new weapon in that entire time, though, so that's something. And with that, I've pretty much caught you guys back up with everything you need to know when it comes to equipment. Now, that was... we don't really have to go to that specific area, but then I turned around and I came to this way because in that corner nested a very particular enemy. And this very particular enemy, if you don't mind me just quickly going there, was a golden shrub. Now, the golden shrub is a very rare creature that is difficult to basically get and kill because they hit like a dump truck and they have the tendency to kind of run away. So, obviously, that was a bit of an issue. But... actually, I think I found 2 of them. This one was next to Greenhorn Village. I should show that one too, as these are pretty important. Yep, here's the fella. So we did battle with this nefarious beastie. And as you can see, hits pretty hard. Luckily, we also happened to hit really friggin' hard too. Majima didn't really see the agency or urgency of the situation and decided that he would really much rather fight off his hungry status and get himself some more bananas. That's the love song. I don't know if you guys ever saw it. Basically, it gives Parappa the ability to have whatever the strongest relationship he has. So, like with Majima, and say it's at like rank 8. Basically, he for this battle gets an 8-tier friendship with everybody for the duration of the battle. So, pretty handy as you might imagine. So. Then you can see all the various fights that I got myself into as I was going through each and every area in the desert 57 or so times. And, well, there definitely was... oh, there you are! I knew there was another one in there somewhere. This time, there was 2. Now, the thing about these guys is, killing the golden shrubs gets you 500 gold for every single one that you kill. So, obviously, if you see them, you're really gonna want to fight them at every given opportunity. Of that, I absolutely tell you. I cannot get over that. Luckily, Majima, and you actually get a chance to see the desert gear. Luckily, Majima and his friendship with the horse really came in clutch for us. And if you thought that was all that it was, oh, don't you worry. We also busted out the old encore here, just so I could get another thing. And now you also see Weiss in the silk robe and me in the Pengy vestments, so that's pretty good. And then slap, bap, thank you, snap. And that was a free 1,000 gold for us, and it was pretty swell, gotta tell you. And with that, we were able to then zoom on by and head over here, of which there were more forks in the road. Good lord, somebody spilt the entire silverware drawer all over the damn place in this mountaintop. I don't even know what to tell you. I mean, my actual goodness golly gosh, I do not know what to tell you. But every single time there was one, I did it again and again. I ran as fast as I possibly could, but regardless, it was still a bit of a thing. So, it's not too bad, but there you go. And more lightning beasts wish to do battle. More traps set by Majima, but I don't think that's actually going to really help him out much, as I don't think the clouds have much interest in attacking you physically. They're most likely going to attack by pretty much every other means. Love song! Now, we all really dig Parappa. At least as much as anybody could possibly could at the time. Ouch. Yep, alright, well, these still hurt like all get out. Whirlwind Blades was a new ability that Majima picked up. As you can see, it's pretty friggin' sweet. Parappa was most certainly very impressed by it, so that's always good. Of course, the fireball. This is actually the first time I've ever been able to do this. Towards the end of the whole session, I finally gained enough friendship with the horse to do this, but I've never done this before, so off I go! Blammo! And that's how you end that. I'm not entirely sure how you're able to do that to a cloud, but, it is what it is. And that's all that it is. You sees, I thinks you do's. Any ding-dang way, there you go. Hop aboard the mighty steed, as we truly book it! We book it like nobody's ever booked it before! There's a long way to go! And Majima falls off the horse. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I don't know if I said or not, but luckily, going forward, this won't become a problem again. The horse? Really, horse? You want me to ride you again? Alright. Fine by me. I'm all about that. Bimo! I mean, it makes me a hell of a lot stronger. Granted, though, I really feel like you should be letting just about any other character in the roster do this. Oh, Majima's not satisfied with the amount of damage he just dealt and wants to stab rocks again. Do you have any idea how badass you need to be to sufficiently stab rocks like that? My goodness. It's something pretty special. Alrighty. it should be noted that a couple times, actually, 2 times, as a matter of fact, there was this one special event that Parappa found something in the ground, and he wanted to dig it up. So, he did so, and I made many, you know, ha-ha-ha-has. He's a dog. It makes sense that he would want to dig something up. That's very funny, very silly, very wonderful, and all that good stuff. So, eventually he did, and I believe he actually dug up an HP banana, which was... Oh, wait, no! I know what happened. He dug up 89 gold coins. Okay, so, that's actually new. The hard eyes, that is not a thing that it was before. I don't know if BFFs means what you think it means, but this sure don't seem to imply otherwise. But yeah, Parappa, he dug up 89 gold, and I thought it was really funny because that's not enough to do anything. And then like 5 steps ahead, we ran into a treasure chest that had 120 gold in it. So as you can tell, it was pretty funny. Later, Majima also wanted to do it, and I was like, oh, now the Mad Dog wants to dig up some stuff. And he dug and dug and dug. Nothing came up, but due to his stubborn quirk, he kept going. The problem is, every single time that he failed at digging something up, he lost a good chunk of his HP. So, he dug, found nothing, stubborn, kept going. Lost HP, and he did this 3 times. He lost almost all his HP in the process, but boy howdy, did he dig up an MP candy as a result of all that. Not worth it in the slightest, but it was, you know, you gotta admire that kind of tenacity. Anyway, so, I apparently have a very deep connection with Weiss at this current moment in time. So, yeah, we'll just, we're gonna take care of all this very soon. Don't you worry, everybody. So, as far as special events, that really was all that there was. So, you didn't miss too terribly much. And then, we also had this with yet another fork in the road. So, basically, ultimately, that was an extra 25 minutes of just going through everything over and over again. My goodness, Majima, do you ever want to not ride the horse? I mean, granted, understandably, it's a long walk. You wouldn't want to do it. I get you. I feel you. My pengy feet are not feeling great right now, but I like to think I'm pulling my weight. You definitely are, Parappa. Don't worry. Like, literally every member of this team, beloved and appreciated member, no question. Although, dang, man, Majima, you're becoming more obsessed with traps than Fred from Scooby-Doo. Like, seriously, you used to never do it, now you never stop doing it. Good job, Max. Oh, dang. A compliment from the Mad Dog? Well, I mean, that's just not a very common thing. I appreciate that greatly. And we all are all about that Parappa life. All right, well, I'm feeling pretty jazzed about this, so don't mind me. Just gonna slap a fool something silly, as is tradition. And with that, ta-ta-ta-ta. We've done that, and boy howdy, do we got ourselves some butterfly honey. Alright then. Now, I feel like you've definitely seen just about everything that there is to see in the arid frontier. It's basically a big honkin' mountain. My goodness. And yeah, we do need some kitty cuddles. Ha! Majima, you've fallen off a horse like 15 times this episode alone. Eventually, you really do need to just go back on your own feet. But, you know, whatever. But look, hey, friendship. All right, fine by me. Boom, boom. Unfortunately, hitting stuff with sticks, not too easy. But that's okay. We're gonna make it work anyway. We are going to annihilate some fools. Majima, lending a hand. All right. And thieves actually have a very specific and special animation for their pincer maneuvers where they kind of teleport in. That better not be... Okay. If you're gonna hit anybody, I want you to be hitting me. Don't be hitting my friends. Alrighty then. Also, we defeated a bunch of monsters and we got some Spronkle upgrades. So, you know, that was pretty cool too. That was pretty cool. And mighty chalk rocks were had. And, dum-ba-da-bum-bum-bum, we found the inn. All was good. All was well. And with that, I do believe... that is the last place I'm actually going to have to walk to and throw. So, obviously, now they're super good best pals, and that's always good. Alright, now, at long last, let's check in on some stuff. Majima buying another gift. This time, another one for the Parappa. If you didn't see them before, because I don't remember what was seen and what wasn't. Ugh. Anyway, Majima's been going on a gift-giving spree, and so far, he's had a flawless record. at worst, Parappa was only sort of like, that's kind of nice. But he was never a dud. Here's hoping that Majima's perfect record doesn't break down yet. Here's hoping. A guitar! Well, I mean, Parappa is a musician. Makes sense. That's friendship right there. Not bad, Majima. You know, the dude just, he's good at gift giving. Dude cares about his friends in his own wacky way. Da-ba-ba-ba-ta-da! What would you like, Mr. Horse, or Missy Horse? Which would you like? The carrot is the option I would prefer if you took. Yeah, there you go. Now it's time for maximum friendship. There you go. All in all, pretty dang swell, pretty dang swell. Weiss is making friends with that horse. Before you know it, Majima and Weiss are going to have a rivalry over who has the most, friendships with the horse. It seems very probable. All right, then. With that, I think everybody has definitely earned themselves. Ignore those particular things. We'll get to those in a second. Just ignore them for now. All right. Now, Weiss absolutely loves these sundaes. So, I feel like everybody on the team should get whatever it is they most love, because I had to make them basically retrace their steps this whole dang time. It's a good idea to stuff them silly. All right, then. So, we'll deal with that in a sec. I guess this is new. Well, it's not new, but how do you feel about these, Parappa? He frigging loved them. All right, that works out so incredibly well. And he likes these too, so just chow down, my dude. And da-ta, there you go. Now, let's see, that's, yeah, well, 1-star thing, that would make sense. So, I'll show it to you guys too. At the very, very end of the episode, I fought a bunch of snup radishes, and they drop these items, and this is how you're supposed to get them. And I seem to really enjoy them for whatever reason. So there you go, and I ain't gonna complain. That's a huge boost of all sorts of stuff. I don't have any Gobbo ham, unfortunately, so, well, I'm neutral at least to them. And if Weiss likes them, then I like them too. That's just how it is. And here, try these two. Okay, didn't really care for those, but we still got some boost anyway. The point is, I want to stuff everybody silly to make up for the fact that I had not been giving them any grub up to this point. You all very much earned it. Let's see. In fact, Majima, I'm gonna give you the Snup Radish Star. Hopefully you like it. Okay, you didn't. But you did get a boost in literally all of your stats anyway, so ultimately, pretty good time. And then we'll just stuff you full of some of this here cotton candy, and there you go. Literally nobody can eat any more. Fantastic. And with that, we are good to gravy. Then let's check the roulette. I could get some ragged vestments, which is literally the worst possible item that I could wear as a priest, or cleric, as it were. So, not worth it. I mean, there's a possibility for some cheesecake, but other than that, not so much. All right, then. Well, yeah, no, that's fine. We'll head out like so. Oh, and apparently we've boosted defense by 10 or more. All right, then. There you go. Getting them medals. Feeling pretty good about it. Don't mind me. And at long last, after many, many expeditions through all these things, we finally made it here, where the prince was waiting. Now, surely he wasn't as horribly awful and annoying as everybody thought he was going to be. Obviously not. Try to bust out this old voice. Yeah, keep me waiting. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Huh? The prince from a nearby land, Nagito. You imbeciles. Take me to the princess this instant, and don't you dare dawdle. Why was I waiting out here alone, you ask? I was attacked by a monster. I made a valiant attempt at vanquishing the brute, but my pathetic servants couldn't handle it. Bah! They left me no choice but to flee from battle. Yeah! And then a monster attacked. And, make for the princess? Well, I'm not sure what that one is. We'll check that out in just a second. Because we were attacked, most specifically, by it's somewhere in here. Gonna find it. It's in here somewhere. No, that's the Town Golem, which means I already passed it. I'm doing my best here. Where's the gold snub? Where are you? The griffin! We were attacked by a griffin! And this was a boss fight for the ages, as you are soon about to see. Luckily, we started things out with a good chunk of teamwork. It's a great way to start out a fight with a free 30 damage straight out the gate. Thank you and good day. And obviously, our teamwork was completely unrivaled as I busted out my new skill, Righteous Anger. I used almost all of my MP to use it, and it missed. Because I guess it has an incredibly low hit chance. Go figure. Parappa boosted things up for himself so that he might be able to help people out a bit more, which is always good, and Weiss, of course, gracefully jumped out of the way. And Majima learned how to backflip. Looks like it's my time to step in. And then he doesn't, because the prince, Nagito, Frank, absolutely sucks and I hate him. As we continued to set fire to all the things, I decided to give it another try, and it missed. I have since wasted all of my MP trying to use my new ability, and don't worry, I still haven't been able to use it. I was obviously concerned for Parappa's well-being, so I decided to give him the old howdy doody, hope you're doing okay, my friend. And at that point, we actually gained a little bit of friendship there, which luckily for us helped heal him up. And we learned Lend a Hand, which is obviously always a fantastic thing. Glad that these managed to stick in too. Ow. And then Majima actually decided to show concern for me. It looks a little weird when I do it, but the point is, our friendship grew, and that managed to inexplicably completely heal me up. So, obviously, that's pretty great. And we learned Praise, as you saw somewhat fairly earlier. So there you go. Pretty nifty, ain't it? Weiss, elegantly dashing right out of the battle. You dare challenge me, you scoundrel. Yeah, he just kind of... He's very, very Porky Minch about this whole situation. He just kind of does stuff on the sidelines and acts like he did stuff when really he did nothing. I chowed down on an MP candy to make up for the fact that I wasted literally all of it on a skill that I could not do. Parappa's love song gave him the ability to team up with 2 teammates, giving them the big, bad wombo combo of ultimate destruction and destiny. Unfortunately, this griffin is made out of some extraordinarily tough stuff. Have you not had enough yet? Obviously, I jumped to Weiss's aid, as I'm always wont to do. That's just how I be. We show off a little bit. And yeah, this griffin is still kicking. It does not want to die. Luckily, Parappa gets another team-up maneuver. Bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. And that is how you defeat a griffin. It did. It took so much work, my goodness. And with that, I believe the next cutscene would be this one. And if it is what I think it is, then it should be... Yep, we successfully defeated the griffin and we're feeling great. The victory was hard fought, but my expert swordsmanship pulled us through. And literally none of us are okay with that. Oh, I spy the castle. Princess Daisy! Your beloved Prince Nagito will soon be by your radiant side. We gotta deal with this crap. Sadly, that is just the way that things be. On the way over, as we were trying to get here, a special event did take place, where we had a brief conversation about how that Luigi guy doesn't seem very reliable, but he does seem a whole lot nicer than the prince ever was. At least from what limited exposure we had of the guys, and we just kind of had to shake our heads and throw our arms up. There's not really a whole lot we could do. So, obviously, we headed to the castle, and we brought over that prince, where this took place. And with that, we'll finally be caught up. We came back to talk to the princess, and wouldn't you know it, that old sly fella Luigi found his way in. I managed to sneak in here. Friend. Yeah, that's definitely the exact same type of friendship that me and Weiss have definitely established at this point. Deep best friends, totally. Majorly platonic. Princess Daisy. It is I, your beloved Prince Frank. You. You dog. That's assault. What are you doing with Princess Daisy? And who are you supposed to be? Oh, nobody special. Only the princess's fiancé. Princess Daisy cannot marry a dork like you. Uberburn, that's coming from Luigi. I won't allow it. Look me in the eye and say that. Yeah, well, he's kind of gonna have to kneel down. Get probably, like, seriously, like, completely squat to be able to do that. You're ridiculously short. They might get dirt-bite, but the rage is still felt. Please stop. Stop it, you two! Oh, what on earth is all this commotion? And with that, I can now actually come back in here. He's not going to give us the full scoop, but he can give us a little bit of scoops. So don't you worry none about that. You've been asked to help again? Sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's been happening a lot. About time we got some intrigue around here. Yeah, well, you would be that way. So basically, we talked to the old king of town, and he said, man, tensions sure are running high in here. And, yeah, no, they are. They still very much are. This is Daisy's fiancé. I will not permit it. Who is this knave? He dares approach Princess Daisy. Stop it, you two. Just stop it. So, obviously, as tensions ran high, we went back to the king, and he said, hey, you know, I heard tale of a special fruit growing over yonder that's known for calming nerves. Maybe you could go out of your way a little bit and find it and all that good stuff. So, obviously, being the guy that I am, I obviously agreed, as I would very much like all conflict to kind of, you know, cease. So, I made way. And over there, and right where I'm currently standing, we'll have the last thing that we're going to be flashing back to. I ran across some tasty shrubs, and these particular rare enemies drop those radishes that I showed you guys earlier. Also, that giant hunk of meat in our grub container, yeah, that was because of fighting off the Griven. Majima boldly decided to brace himself. I helped Weiss with her lightning spells, as I'm known to do, to rain down the spiciest of thunders. Even though thunder and lightning are two different things, but that's besides the point. And then, new skill. This was the first time he unlocked the Whirlwind Blades. And luckily, with Parappa's help, man, did he do some big-time damage. And then, teamwork! Slam, slam! One down. That's one free radish for us. And then, Parappa jumped on top of the back of the horse, and wouldn't you know it, swing-a-ding-ding, that's all she'd be. Except not really, because then I forgot that this happened, and that's what's the way that we actually successfully defeated him. I much prefer that way, actually. I love the team-up moves. They're very, very cute. And with that, at long last, you guys are caught up with everything that happened. And looking over at my recording setup, it took a good while to be able to do it, so I feel like it was still a pretty decent episode. Some small details got lost, tragically, but as I said earlier, hard drive failure. I'm not exactly... My hand was kind of forced. There really wasn't anything I could do. But, I digress. I digress. So let's see. Does anybody want some stuff? We've got the money for it, and you want the night wand? That's a really cool wand. I think it's about time you grabbed yourself one, assuming you do, and you do! That's a really cool wand, like, legitimately. Nice job, Weiss. You got good taste. Of course, that was never in any doubt. And I believe Parappa also wanted to pick up a new one. Ah, yeah, he wants a whisk mic. He wants to toss aside his rainbow microphone and pick up a cooking whisk. I mean, whatever makes you happy, dude. And it makes you stronger, so I'm not gonna complain. I'm just gonna question the logistics of it and be rather confused by the whole thing. And now, with all that, I think you guys deserve at least a couple outings. Let's give 2 good ones to, or maybe 3, we'll see. Let's head to the seaside with Weiss. We're at a level 30 friendship. We're BFFs. It's just you and me. Is that how it seems? Do I think that there are people following us? I actually wouldn't put it behind Parappa or Majima to be carefully, stealthily watching about, seeing what's happening. What's going on here? Weiss, are you okay? Are you shaking your groove thing? Stretching it up? Okay, warm up complete. Oh, that makes sense. Ah, she was just warming herself up so she could properly enjoy beachy times. Good lord, are we close at this point? Well, there you go, in all that regard. And we got some HP bananas as a result. Now, how about we send these two dorks over to the library? Majima seemed to have a pretty good time of it that last time, despite the fact that he apparently aged and then managed to de-age himself 40 years both times. Look at that! That won't fly. I don't know what Majima looked at, but apparently, by Parappa's own metrics, it will not gain altitude. Hey, Parappa. What's up? Help me out. What are those thingies you use to steer the horse around? Reins. They're called reins. Come on, this is kid stuff. Right, what about the thing you sit on? That's a saddle. Duh. Silly me. And those horse foot things that go cloppity-clop? For crying out loud, those are, horse thingies? I'm sorry, the correct answer was horseshoes. Apparently, there was some sort of game show quiz going on. I'm not 100% sure on what that's all about, but there you go. And they learned how to share. Go halvesies on a snacksies. We haven't seen that happen yet, but I'm sure we will eventually. 5 HP bananas! We are literally rolling in those things. Alright, tell you what, how about we do... Actually, hang on. That. Yeah, okay. Let's have a couple more, just to make up for everything, you know? Alright, let's see. How about you guys go fishing and see if you can have yourselves a bit more luck? Fishing has been a mixed bag, to say the bare minimum, but we're gonna see if we can make it work. Hope something good happens, don't we all? That's a no-go. Weiss is being a realist, considering the absolute technical issues I've been having lately. Yeah. No luck. Oh, whoa! Looks like you got something. Did you catch something? Seems to be the case. What you got? Nice! It's a cherry salmon. Not bad. It's adorable. Weissy like the fishies. Makes sense. And there you go. Nothing super special, nothing too fancy, but they went there and they caught a fish. That's a step in the right direction. And Lord knows they definitely needed to establish a bit stronger of a bond. And there we go. And an MP suite as a result. Alright then, let's head to the cafe with Majima. And then we'll say that we've done pretty much all we can do. And then we'll set out on some right proper adventures once again. I'm a ball of nerves. I'm liking what I'm hearing. I don't know why, though. That's a little weird. Those random responses, man. Alright, let's see what happens. That monster was wicked strong, eh? Now, you said it. He only pulled through because of you. Oh, yeah, those whirlwind blades were pretty crazy. Grumble. I did my best for you. Ah, well, hey. I'm glad we're getting along, my dude. Like, straight up and legitimate. Majima's a strange fella, but he's definitely the type of guy you definitely want to have on your back, you know? Not on your back. Have your back. There you go. Me mixing up words, shapes, sounds, smells. I'm mixing all that stuff up. My goodness. And then, obviously, we reestablish our friendship links as we always do. And with that, I'm feeling pretty dang confident. And assuming the universe is a just and kind one, you'll all be seeing this episode. In the next part, we're gonna try and get that, you know, nerve, emotion-soothing fruit. And hopefully a treasure chest, too. I'll see you all then.